Good afternoon, fifth grade online learners. Welcome to science class with me, Mr. Monzo. It's been kind of a crazy, hectic week with Monday off and 2 delays this week. But we are going to move forward with the quiz tomorrow on Friday. And if for some reason you don't do good, we can always reset the quiz. We understand it's been a hectic week. But I want to stay on schedule and take this quiz, and I'll be glad to reset it if you have trouble. What we were talking about in this week's lesson is sound production. So I think the best way to get this content from the book is for me to present it in this video. And like I said, we'll worry about tomorrow. We're probably going to reread this in class. And we have our study guides. That is your big key for the quiz. And you have 2 journal entries this week, not 3. Okay, so sound production. A mechanical wave forms when a disturbance causes energy to be transferred through matter, such as air or water. Mechanical waves always need matter to move through. Mechanical waves cannot travel through empty space. That's why you cannot hear sounds on the moon. Mechanical waves can move in different ways. The rope pictured below is moving in a transverse wave. That means that the medium moves perpendicular to the direction of the wave. The rope, which is the medium, moves up and down. The wave moves from left to right. Part of the rope moves up as the energy moves through it. As that part of the rope drops back down, it transfers energy to the next part of the rope, which in turn moves up. In this way, the energy is transferred through the rope from the left to the right as the rope moves up and down. Okay, next page. Still dealing with sound here. Water waves are transverse mechanical waves. If you drop a water, ripples will spread out through the water in all directions. These ripples are created by energy passing through the water. Particles of water move up and down, forming the ripples. The energy is transferred outward from the rock, creating new ripples as it moves. Scientists describe waves by their amplitude and wavelength. Amplitude is the height of the crest or troughs from the rest position of a transverse wave. Wavelength is the distance between new neighboring crests or troughs. Scientists also describe a wave's frequency, which is the number of waves that pass a point per second. Frequency and wavelength are related. Waves with shorter wavelengths have higher frequencies. Waves with longer wavelengths have lower frequencies. Longitudinal waves are also mechanical waves. In a longitudinal wave, particles in the medium move back and forth parallel to the direction of the waves. In the picture above, one of the students quickly pushed the spring forward and then snapped it back. Coils along the spring come together and spread apart as energy is transferred through them. The coils move back and forth only. The part of the longitudinal wave where the particles come together is called a compression. The part where they spread out is called a rarefaction. So here's what that looks like. And next page, we have this boy playing the musical instrument, a saxophone. It's much like a tuba. It's coiled, so it makes it easier to carry. Sound waves are longitudinal mechanical waves that move through air or another medium. These waves are produced by vibrations. A vibration is a rapid back and forth movement of an object. When an object vibrates, it transfers energy to its surroundings. The energy of those vibrations travels through the surrounding medium as longitudinal waves. Most of the sounds that you hear are transferred through the air. If a pencil is tapped against a desk, both the pencil and the desk vibrate. The vibrations are too tiny to see, but they are there. The vibrations compress and spread apart the air molecules around them. As the first molecules are pushed away, they bump into the molecules next to them. These molecules then bump into other nearby molecules, while the first molecules return to where they were. This pattern continues, spreading out from the desk and pencil like ripples in a pond. However, the desk and pencil do not vibrate for very long. That's why the sound that they create doesn't last very long. Other types of materials, such as metals, vibrate more easily. Consider a metal tuning fork. When struck, its vibrations are easy to see. It makes a sound that lasts much longer than the sound made by the pencil hitting the desk. Look at the sousaphone. It produces sound where air travels through it. When the player's lips vibrate, the air inside the sousaphone vibrates too. As the vibrating air moves through the instrument, the metal itself vibrates and magnifies the sound. Next page. Waves travel at different speeds through different materials. This is true of all types of mechanical waves, including sound waves. For example, sound waves generally move faster through solids and liquids than through gases. The temperature of the medium, especially gases, also affects the speed. The chart shows the speeds of sound through some different materials. How can the different speeds of sound be put to use? Railroad workers have been known to put their ears to the track to listen for oncoming trains. Woodpeckers listen to trees to hear the bugs inside them. Long ago, Native Americans on the plains put their ears to the ground to listen for buffalo hoofbeats. Okay, next page. Sorry, this video is kind of all over the place because I'm using a different room right now. Pitch. Sound waves have different properties depending on the vibrations of the objects that produce them. Pitch is how high or low you perceive the sound to be. The pitch of a sound depends on the sound wave's frequency. The higher the frequency of the wave, the higher the pitch of the sound. You can change the pitch of a sound by changing the frequency at which an object making the sound vibrates. Whistles make high-pitched sounds because they vibrate at a high frequency. Tubas and saxophones make a low-pitched sounds because they vibrate at a low frequency. A piano has many strings that vary in thickness and length. When you strike a piano key, the pitch of the sound produced depends on the properties of the string that vibrates. Long, thick strings produce low-pitched sounds. Short, thin strings produce high-pitched sounds. Okay, next page. Volume. Another property of sound is volume. Volume is how loud or soft a sound is. It is a measure of the intensity or strength of the vibrations that produce a sound. Intensity is determined by the amplitude of the sound waves. Like the strings of a piano, the strings on a guitar produce sounds of a different pitch. The fifth string on a guitar is tuned to a pitch called low A. When you pluck this string, it will always vibrate at a frequency of 440 times per second. So it will always produce a sound with the same pitch. The volume or loudness of the sound produced by this string depends on how much force you use to pluck it. Pluck it lightly and it will vibrate back and forth across a short distance. Air particles will be displaced a smaller distance from their rest positions, producing a soft sound with a low A pitch. What happens if you use a stronger force to pluck the string? The string will vibrate back and forth across a greater distance. Air particles will be displaced a greater distance from their rest positions, producing a louder sound. The sound will, however, have the same pitch. Last page. Acoustics. Like other types of waves, sound waves behave in different ways when traveling from one material into another. When a sound wave strikes a surface, it may reflect off it, travel through it, or be absorbed by it. Acoustics is the study of how materials affect sound waves. When a sound wave in air hits a concrete wall, most of the sound will be reflected or bounced off the surface. Sound waves behave this way when they strike most hard, smooth surfaces. This is why you hear an echo when you yell into a canyon. When a sound wave hits something soft or porous, most of it will be absorbed. Cotton and other fabrics are examples of materials that absorb sounds well. Some materials reflect or absorb sound differently, depending on the frequency of the sound. Architects take this into account when they design concert halls and auditoriums. The goal is to project a balance of sound frequencies to the audience. For example, if the wall behind the orchestra reflected most highly pitched frequencies, the music would sound thin and squeaky. If it reflected mostly low pitched frequencies, the music would sound muffled. As for the back and side walls, they usually are designed to absorb sound. If they were reflective, the music would not sound very clear. Okay, fifth grade, thank you for listening to that. And like I said, it's a rushed week, but your biggest help is the study guide. Please look over that. And if you get below a 7 out of 10, we'll be glad to reset that so you can try again. Have a nice evening and have a nice weekend, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.